Hi everyone, welcome to your notes on cell size and shape. Now you guys have been practicing calculating the surface area to volume ratio of cells. And one of the things that we want to do is compare how that surface area to volume ratio changes when the cells are different shapes. So first of all, let's start with why this is important. Your surface area of the cell is basically going to tell you how much of the plasma membrane is interacting with the cell's environment. So if the cell itself is in an aqueous solution, how much physical contact does the surrounding environment make with the outer surface of that plasma membrane? And some of the things that are going to be important are gaining nutrients, removing wastes, things like that. The volume of the cell is basically looking at how quickly things are able to diffuse through the cell or through the cytoplasm in the cell. So going from stuff that already entered the cell through that plasma membrane getting towards the center. So with the volume, it's talking about cytoplasm moving material to the interior of the cell. So your surface area is how much of the cell's plasma membrane is interacting with its environment. So if I were to draw this, it would be basically how much of this is interacting with the environment. And then the volume would be once something has entered into the cell, how quickly is it able to go into the center of the cell if that's where it's needed. So our surface area and volume give us an idea of efficiency of a cell, which is why you want this ratio when you divide the surface area by the volume. You want this number to be as high as possible. So what you've done is you've done these calculations for different types of cells. And the first one that we did is represented by this line right here. And this is the surface area to volume ratio of a sphere-shaped cell. And what you'll notice is that your surface area to volume ratio was at 3. And then when the radius was increased to 2, the surface area to volume ratio gets cut in half to about 1.5. So you'll notice a very steep slope on this part right here, still steep, and then it begins to taper off. So that is a sphere, and how the surface area to volume ratio of a sphere-shaped object changes as the size increases. Next, this line right here represents the surface area to volume ratio of a cube-shaped cell. So you'll notice that the surface area to volume ratio starts much higher. It starts at 6. But when you increase the size of the cube from 1 to 2, our surface area to volume ratio goes from 6 to 3. So it still gets cut in half. Very, very steep slope. And then it does begin to taper off some. The last cell that you guys looked at is a column-shaped cell, a rectangular prism. And that is this line right here. And what you'll notice is as we start off, our surface area to volume ratio for a column that is 1 by 1 by 1 starts at 6. And then when you increase the height of the column to 2, the surface area to volume ratio only drops to 5. So the slope of this part of the line is much, much gentler. It's not as steep as the slope of this part of the line or of this part of this line either. And then you'll notice that it begins to taper off. It begins to level out much faster than it did with the cube or the sphere. So what this means is when a cell is going to be larger, a cell that is a column shape can still maintain a very high surface area to volume ratio when you compare it to a cell that is cube-shaped or a cell that is sphere-shaped. So when you think about cells that are a little bit more larger, or if you think about efficiency of cells, the column shape is definitely advantageous. So some examples would be like microvilli. Think of the shape of roots. Okay, so the larger the cell shape is, or the larger the shape is, the less that surface area to volume ratio decreases, or it doesn't decrease. That surface area to volume ratio doesn't decrease as much as it does with the cube or the sphere. So if a cell has to be larger, column shape is going to maintain that high efficiency. Thanks for watching.